Hello book lovers! So I thought that I would stand in front of camera for a change and talk to you all. Today I'm going to do a tag video, and this tag was created by Michelle Lynn, and I leave the link to the original video in the description below. So this tag contains of 8 questions, and I forgot to tell you that this tag name is Because Feelings Matter, and you can see why this tag is named like this, because it is about books, and books are all about feelings. When we read a book, it's all about how we feel while reading this book and how we feel afterwards. So as you can see, because feelings matter, and that's why we read books. In this tag there are 8 questions, and each of those questions is connected to our feelings after reading some book or while reading some book. So I'm going to start from the question number 1. What book made you confident either about yourself or about your life? And for this one, and as you've noticed, I mentioned these books in almost every video, and that are the Vampire Academy books, and I chose this one. This is the last book, The Last Sacrifice, because it has a cover, the red cover with the giant heart, and that is the only cover of this edition that I own, and I really like these covers. They're really great, so I had to choose this one to show you. And the main reason why this book makes me feel so confident is because of the main heroine, Rose Hathaway, and she is really a great example of kick-ass heroine who is really strong and confident, and she knows what she wants from her life. So when I read those books, they make me feel more confident, more strong, and just they make me want to fight more and maybe do some physical exercises, and just they make me confident. What book makes you sympathetic or sympathize greatly with the characters? And for this one I chose The Magician Guild, and it is the representative of the whole Black Magician trilogy by Trudy Canavan. And the reason why I chose this trilogy and this book is because it is one of my favorite fantasy trilogies, and we get to really sympathize with the main character of the trilogy, and her name is Sonia. This trilogy deals about all those problems, political and connected with magicians and magic, and in these books only people from houses who are rich and from the influential families and everything can enter the Magician Guild. But then we can see some girl who is from the lower class, who came from the family with almost no money, and she had these powers, and they had to accept her and teach her, and we can see all of those other kids in the Magician Guild who are just trying to make her feel not so welcome, and it was really awful at the time. And there was some kids who really drove me mad through the whole book, but that all happened later in the trilogy, in the second and the third book, and it is really great to read, and you can really sympathize with the main characters, so you should read that. Which book made you feel anxious? And for this one I chose Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, and if you watched my previous videos then you'll know that this trilogy, Infernal Devices trilogy, is also one of my favorites. And the reason, and if you read the first 2 books, or maybe if you read the whole trilogy, then you'll know that the main reason why I felt so anxious in this book is because I didn't know what would happen to Jem, and if he would die or he would survive, or what will happen. So it made me feel really anxious, and if you haven't read those books already, you should pick them up and read them as soon as possible, because they are just fantastic, full of humor and full of all the other elements and all the genres combined, and they're really great, so you should read them. What book made you feel really annoyed? And please, before I say this, don't kill me, but I have to say it first, that the book that really made me annoyed was The Fault in Our Stars. I know you're going to kill me after this, but I have two main reasons why this book made me feel so annoyed, and they're personal reasons, but I feel like I should tell you these reasons. The first reason is because this book deals with some serious issues, and that is cancer. And my mother died from cancer when I was 14 years old, and that was 8 years ago, but I still feel that sadness inside me. And while reading this book, I really thought that I shouldn't have to deal with these problems again with some fictional characters when I've already seen it in real life, and that was really hard for me, and that's why I didn't enjoy reading this book as much. The other thing was that at the time while I was reading this book, I had plans with my friends to go to some excursion, and we wanted to go to Amsterdam and to some other cities, to Bristol and to Luxembourg, and we paid for the whole trip. But for the excursion I got ill, and I had the flu and really high fever and everything, so my doctor told me that I couldn't really go and I had to stay at home, and they all went without me, and I really felt awful. And when I started reading Fault in Our Stars, I didn't know that the majority of the plot happened in Amsterdam, and they were all there, and I wasn't there, so that's why this book made me so annoyed, and I really couldn't like it as much as all the people did. Which book made you feel disappointed? And for this one I chose Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I really didn't like this book. I bought the second part because I heard that it's better than the first one, and I heard that there are many short novellas dealing with all of that happened for everything in this book, and I'd really like to read those because I just felt that not everything was explained as much as I wanted it to be explained, and I really dislike this book. I wrote a review on my Goodreads, so I don't really want to repeat myself because I don't really want to say all the terrible things about these books because I really didn't like it. And if you'd like to know more about why I disliked this book so much, I leave the link to my Goodreads account in the description below. Which book made you feel confused? And for this one I chose The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and this book made me feel really confused because I read this book and at the end I really didn't know what happened. And this book is about two magicians, and when they were little, they're, I can say fathers, but it's not his father. Her father and his stepfather made this deal that their children should practice all their lives and that they should compete against each other, and this competition is for life and death, and we can see the whole competition in this book. But what made me really confused is that I really couldn't imagine this whole circus in my mind, and I really couldn't see how they really competed against each other, so I guess that's why I didn't really like this book. That book made me feel really confused, and that is the answer to my question. Which book made you really satisfied? And for this book I don't have a physical copy, I'm waiting for it to arrive so I can show you in my next book haul. But I really liked Fiery Heart by Richelle Mead, and what a surprise again, a Vampire Academy book, or better to be said, Bloodlines book, because it is spin-off series of the Vampire Academy, and this book was really satisfying, and it was everything that I expected it to be, and I really loved it, so that's my answer. And the last question is, what book made you feel like you could relate to the main character? And for this one I chose Obsidian, like a representative of the whole Lux serial, because the main heroine is named Katy and her name is similar to mine, or like shorter version of my name, and because she's also a book blogger, she likes reading books and she's really awesome and all the characters were awesome. So for this answer I would choose The Lux Serial by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I really like doing this tag, and I'm going to tag a few people and I'm going to tag them in the description box. So if you find your name there, please do this tag because I had fun doing it, and I'll see you soon.